Hey, my friends, welcome to the Dallas Daily Show. Today we are talking about lessons from the Hermitage, Part 1, creating space. Let's get into the conversation. All right, friends. A couple of weeks ago, it was after the new year here, so I guess maybe a little over a month ago now, end of January. I had an opportunity to spend about 72 hours away on a little bit of a silence retreat, but it was more of just like a meditative, contemplative retreat. And I went to this Hermitage in southern Missouri. It's a little bit south of St. Louis, Missouri, and I got there on a Friday afternoon and I left on Sunday kind of midday. So not quite a full, couple of days, but man, it was so good and so refreshing for me. And I thought, there was a lot of things I took away from that weekend, and I wanted to share them with you. So this week, for a couple of days, we're going to talk about some of the lessons I got from the Hermitage. And one of the first things that happened was I arrived there and I got to meet, the folks who run the Hermitage, and it's a Catholic Hermitage. I'm not Catholic, but there was just a beauty and a richness to some of the rituals that I got to partake in and see. But went to this Hermitage, met the Monsignor, met the caretaker of the facility. They get me down into my Hermitage, and it's kind of like it was almost like a hobbit hole. It was just a small little bed, a kitchen sink with like a coffee maker and a microwave if you wanted to have food, a little desk with some candles, a rocking chair, and then just a little bathroom area. That's it. I mean, very small, and the bed was a small little twin bed. This is designed not like a hotel room. This is designed for you to retreat and to just break away from all of the modern, obviously we can't get rid of coffee, so they have a coffee machine for you, but to break away from the modern world a little bit and create space. And it was amazing. So they walked me through and they're like, hey, we do Eucharistic adoration at this hour. There's Mass in the mornings if you want to partake in that. There's a special chapel that you can just go and sit in silence or go and sit in contemplative prayer. There's a library if you want to just read from some of the friars and the Catholics over the centuries. I mean, you're talking 2,000 years of church history here. So it was just really great. It was cold. I think it was about 10 degrees when I was there, and it was windy. So it's not like I spent a ton of time outside, but it overlooked the Mississippi River. It was beautiful. And the river had been crusted with ice the first night. So you could hear that crackling as the ice was breaking and the river was running again. And I faced toward the east, so the sun would come up in the morning, and I sat out on the rocking chair and had my cup of coffee, and I had to drink it in 2 minutes before it got cold, but all bundled up and sitting on the rocking chair and watching the sun rise over the water. There's a woodpecker just right above, just in the tree above my particular Hermitage. And it was just amazing to create that space, to actually go there and to have a bit of a digital detox. There's no Wi-Fi. My wife knew I was going off grid. She had the boys for the weekend. She was like, hey, I'm good. We got it. Just go do your thing. I would get to the top of a hill and call her every day and just say, hey, I'm checking in. Are you guys all right? You good? And then I'd go back down, turn off my phone. That first couple of hours when I first arrived and I'm unpacking my stuff and it's just silent, it's just quiet, and there's no 5G going through my cells, right? There's none of that happening. At first, it was a little disconcerting, but man, the overwhelming sense of peace that occurred in that first few hours when I was there. And I kind of didn't know what to do with myself. I had brought journals and I had brought books, and I planned to just rest and sleep and pray and do all the stuff. But digital detox, that was amazing. And there was this kind of like, oh, where's my phone? I didn't have a watch on me. I didn't have, So there was a small little clock on the wall, and I had my phone down. But other than that, I had even no recollection of time because the sun was still going down at 4:45, 5 p.m. So it was getting dark early, and I'm like, I have no idea what time it is. I'm ready to go to bed, and it's like 8:15, 8:30 p.m. It was amazing. It was incredible. But it just reminded me, and I actually, by the time I left, I was very slow to want to put my phone back on. I was very slow to want to re-enter the digital race, to enter the melee of our modern world. I just wanted to be. And of course, you guys came to mind as I was doing this, and I just thought, are we digitally detoxing? Are we unplugging enough? Right? Sometimes you got to unplug so you can actually plug in. You unplug from this digital world so you can plug into the real life. You have to create that space. And so often we don't create enough space between the things of our world and our reaction to it. It's like, boom, boom. It's incident reaction, incident reaction, incident reaction. It's that fast. But when you have a chance to create space, and I say this all the time, you get a little bit of space between the incident and not your reaction, but then your response. Because we are so trigger trained to have incident reaction, incident reaction, incident reaction, incident reaction. We can't hear somebody say something before we have a thought. You've even had those conversations with people where they're not listening to learn, they're listening to react, right? And we've done it ourselves. So maybe you don't go to a Hermitage. Maybe you don't get away for a few days. Or maybe you do. Maybe you find a retreat center and you say, hey, I need to unplug. But how can you begin to unplug a little bit in your own world so that you can connect to reality, connect to the real world? Let's get out of this matrix, right? And let's get into what reality actually is. What would that look like for you? Is it maybe that your phone gets turned off on Friday evening and it stays off until Saturday? Is it Saturday sundown or whatever? Like, is it a true Sabbath? Is it maybe that you turn off your phones on Saturday evening and you leave them off all day Sunday and you just read and spend time with your family and do the stuff? Like, when do you actually digitally detox? Is it maybe getting away every 6, 8, 12 weeks for a night or two where you turn off the devices and you're just in nature? What does it look like for you? It recentered me. It recharged me. I came back feeling so great. And there's so many more lessons from the Hermitage. We got a couple more that I'll share with you over the next few days. But I just want you to consider, where in your life do you need to create some space so you don't react, but you have time to respond, so you're no longer plugged in and charged up, but so that you're actually dialed in to what really, really matters. All right, my friends, that's all I got for you. Go out there, have a championship day.
Thanks for listening to my dad's podcast. For more tools, go to DallasDailyShow.com. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.